And we're back with the second segment of Giant Dreams Under Construction. My second guest today is Raff Mihaljevic. All right, thank you.
Perfect.
And he just recently opened up a business in the downtown Port Arthur core, but he has been kind of like an entrepreneur for your entire life.
Since high school.
And you're a barber, so you've taken that trade and turned it into your dream and your business.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, so what made you decide to get into, like, be a barber, not just a hairdresser, but focus on
the barber? I just
kind of a classic thing.
Just to like bring back like a niche that's not around anymore, like a dying trade.
All right. And like, did you go to a barber when you were younger, or
You know what? No, I didn't. I always went to a hairdresser, and I started working in a hair salon like really young. So it was something that I wanted to transition into, switch it up, and bring back something that's dying out.
And when you went to, did you go to New Wave here? Yeah. And what's that course? Is that like a year, 2 years? What is it?
It's hour based.
Really?
So say you miss a week, you gotta make up a week type deal.
So it's kind of like an apprenticeship where you have to
100% apprenticeship, yeah.
Okay, and so how many hours?
I think you need 1,500 hours in school and then the rest on the job.
And
like as with like a mechanic or a carpenter.
Yeah, but do you remember how many you needed on the actual job, or was it a long time ago?
You know what? It was a while ago for me because I worked in the salon like growing up as a part-time job throughout high school.
Yeah.
So all those hours counted towards my apprenticeship after I finished the schooling.
Nice.
So I almost did it backwards a little bit.
That's pretty cool. And what high school did you go to?
St. Ignatius.
Okay, and so you've just always been a PA person then. All right. Now, when you worked in salons, you finished school, why did you decide to go into business instead of just finding the security at another?
Working for somebody?
Yeah.
Well, I was just sick of being like a slave to someone else's fortune.
It's a good answer.
Sense, right?
Yeah.
So I opened a hair salon with a buddy of mine, ran it for a year and a bit, sold out to him, and then worked for another buddy of mine in a barbershop.
And
that's when the whole idea of like being like a real barber.
That's in Westport,
though.
Yeah. Okay.
So I just kind of wanted to like branch off onto the other side of town where everyone's a little bit older and
kind of makes sense.
Barbers are a little bit older, and like within the next 5-10 years, I should probably be the only one left around.
How many barbershops are in Thunder Bay or in Port Arthur specifically?
Like in my area specifically, there's like 4 or 5.
Okay.
With like the average range of being like 60 to 75.
Okay, so yeah, you're basically gonna pick up the torch or the baton.
Yeah, and just take over where they left off.
But then in Westport, on Fort William side, I really only know of.
I think there's just Brian, the barbershop on Frederica,
And so, who were your mentors? Like, who did you learn from the most?
Well, I'd definitely say like a barbering. I learned a lot from Brian. Because his dad was a barber and he took over his dad's barbershop.
Which is really cool, actually.
Yeah. But growing up, like sweeping the floor in the hair salon, like at Trent's Hair Studio, those guys taught me like the bulk of what I know. Okay. So like I owe them most of everything that I know.
And then so with your shop here, what do you find was the hardest thing about starting a business or just deciding to go out on your own? What were some of the obstacles that you saw and had to deal with and overcome?
You know, I never really looked at it as there being any obstacles. I kind of just had a goal and I wanted to get there. And I think if you don't do it, you'll always have that sense in the back of your head, like, oh, why didn't I do it? Like I should have done it earlier. I should have. So I just kind of had a goal and I just shot for it.
And how old are you?
There. 28.
Okay, so you're still really young too. Nice. So now with your business, how long have you been open?
I opened February 1st.
Okay, so
a few months, pretty new still.
Yeah, and how do you find it being, because you're right downtown Port Arthur, so there's a lot of people down there.
Period. A lot of foot traffic, a lot of walk-in traffic, and with like the older guys being so close, I think that they're so busy that their overflow comes to my way, and then as long as I retain their overflow, it should be all right. And
with do you know anybody else that? Like, have any of your friends started other hairdressing salons or whatever, or does it feel like a competition because there are a few that are friends?
No, I don't think it feels like a competition at all. It's like everyone helps each other out. Like if one of my buddies is better at doing something than I am, I kind of send them that way. And like coming from the hair salon, like I still have a lot of ladies that call.
Yeah.
So I feel that like if like say if you wanted your hair done, for instance, I would send you to a good buddy of mine to get it done somewhere where I know that you'll feel comfortable and he'll do a good job, right?
And so that's actually pretty cool, because a lot of other businesses, it's almost like
Like a general competition, like I want
Yeah,
to do better
we're-
than you.
yeah, and they're going to try and upsell or basically retain you instead of.
I feel like we
steal-
all kind of help each other out. I mean, there's people over here and then there's people over here. So the people over here try to help everyone out.
Yeah.
And the people over here just want it all for themselves. So we kind of
way
separate
to
like the
look
greedy
at it,
people
yeah.
to like the people that want to help people, and just stick with the people that want to help people.
And do you have a lot of family that comes and supports you? Like, do all your friends, as soon as you open, like,
You know
that's-
what? I thought like at first all my friends would be the first people to walk through the door, but it never worked out that way.
Really?
Yeah, it was all just, at first it was all my clients that I had, so I guess technically friends, but like a group of friends were like the last people to actually come through the door.
It's
Opposed to the ones that
yeah.
helped me put it together.
And so it was a team effort, like it's yours.
Total team effort putting it together, yeah.
So it's kind of cool with Thunder Bay, because I guarantee you in Toronto or Vancouver, places like that, I don't think there'd be the same camaraderie or
No, I think-
support system.
You would just hire everything out and everyone would do it all one shot type deal.
Yeah, like it wouldn't be like, because I know for myself, like, and given all the volunteer stuff and how many volunteers Thunder Bay has, like, whether it's volunteer or you're just helping your friend, like, we do have that one big thing
I agree,
here
yeah.
where everybody just supports each other. Like, you're gonna have people
And
that
everyone knows someone that does something.
Yeah,
Oh, my
and-
buddy's an electrician. Well, my buddy's a carpenter. Well, you
It's
kind of
so
just put them all
true.
together and
yeah,
then
you build your
trades, trade off with trades.
team. Well, Thunder Bay is good for that too. Instead of 6 degrees of separation, you got the 2 degrees of separation.
Yeah, 100%.
And so, what was now with your business? What do you hope to see in, like, you're saying you want to take the place of the older generation that's going to want to take
I
some
just want to
vacation
keep
time?
my barbershop traditional,
Yeah.
but I want to add like a lifestyle brand to it. So
What
like
do you
selling
mean?
hats and clothing and streetwear and shoes, and not just I want
Yeah.
your traditional barbershop with like a side of like lifestyle to it.
So that's a kind of like two different businesses. So you really
Totally.
are an entrepreneur at heart.
100%, yeah.
And would you ever, like, okay, you picked up this hat, and we just have to do a quick reference to why you're wearing this hat, why it's on the table. You want to explain this for a second here?
Yeah, my good buddies on the St. Louis Blues. They're in the
we-
playoffs right now.
That's awesome. And who's that?
Robert Bartuzzo.
All right, do you want to say hi?
Yo.
No, but that's pretty cool. Like, why wouldn't you want to,
Yeah,
give him
for
a
sure,
shout out,
totally.
especially when he's in the NHL playoffs?
Yeah, I
like,
guess. Yeah, I agree. Cool.
So, and how do you know him? Did
you know,
go
I
to
played soccer with him back in the day.
Really?
Turns out now he's a professional hockey player. So
That's flipping awesome.
Cool.
Where'd you play soccer? Like James Street or?
yeah, the whole James Street, and then like indoor soccer, Soccerplex.
Okay.
I'm not sure if it's still around, but
I don't know. I know like they had the Lakehead Express set up in the
okay, so we played like
golf
Express
dome.
together. Yeah.
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 Okay. Now, is there anything like anybody who is interested in starting a business similar to you, or not even just a business, but pursuing a career like yours? What are the steps, and what advice would you give them?
Well, I would say definitely get into it early enough that like the process won't be too long in the end. You know, like, so I like I said earlier, like I did it backwards. Like
Yeah.
I worked first, then went to the school, and then like the next day I got to rate the trade test, right? And I became a Red Seal right away. But if you want to know, like if you know early enough what you want to be, just to get into it right away.
So it is a Red Seal
Red Seal trade, yeah.
Okay, so that's why it's set up like an apprenticeship.
it-
See,
no,
and
it
a
is
lot
an
of people
apprenticeship,
might
yeah.
know that. Yeah.
So like even like a mechanic, say you were in high school and you worked in a mechanic shop through 5 to 9 after school.
Yeah.
And you knew you wanted to be a mechanic, right? So at the end of your high school, you went to trade school, and after trade school, all those hours working go
Yeah.
towards your apprenticeship. So the
'Cause it's
next
your
day,
experience.
hypothetically, you can
Yeah.
go write your Red Seal.
And what was that exam like though? Like, is it an actual exam, or is it like with a mannequin in front of you?
No, like an actual exam. So I wrote it with a couple plumbers and a couple electricians and a couple carpenters.
Oh,
Like,
just a total
all within
mixed
the same
bag,
room,
yeah.
just so like no one could copy
Yeah.
off each other. And I couldn't ask a plumber like what my question, the answer to my question.
Very
would be, right?
true, yes.
And the test is very old school. It's like not updated. So it's stuff that you learned and you've done once or twice, but that you would actually never do again.
Yeah. So, did that kind of throw you? Like, how do you study for that then? If like just
So to be totally honest, since I did it backwards, like I finished the school and then the actual very next day I went and wrote the
Yeah.
test. So it's like I just studied throughout that whole year of school. So I didn't crack a book to study.
Okay. Kind of
Right?
an advantage to do
Yeah.
it backwards then. And
And
so
I only say it backwards because you don't really know what you want to be when you're that young, right? Like
No.
you don't know what your part-time job is going to be your career as you're going through high school.
how'd you
right?
get into that?
So I actually started out as a hair model. Yeah.
Really?
So I used to get my hair cut at Trends all the time. Good friends of mine, good friends of
Yeah.
the family, and they asked me if I wanted to go to a hair show. So I went home from getting a haircut one day. I was like, Mom, I'm going to Montreal with these guys. She looks at me. She's like, Yeah, okay, good luck. And then I just left, and like everything was free. Everything was taken care of, flight, hotel, food, and just had to be there and get a haircut on stage.
And that's how it all
Where
started.
it all started. And you see the other side of the hair industry that like clients wouldn't see.
How old were you at that point?
15.
So that's really young.
It's
And
really
then
young to
did
get
you
into.
start working right away
Right
after
away.
it? Yeah.
As soon as we got back from that show, I guess they had fired someone within the salon.
Okay.
So then they were looking for someone. I was like, well, you guys just took me away for like 8 days, and like I'm sure I can help you guys out, right?
Yeah.
So I swept the floor for a couple days, washed a little bit of hair, and then I just kept going. I just
that's
never stopped. Like
so
since.
13 years in the making. Now you have your own business.
Yeah.
It's an infant still, but you're definitely
it's working. It's
motivated,
definitely
and you
getting
have
busier.
ideas for other businesses with
to
it,
grow, for sure.
which is awesome. And you're gonna stay here in Thunder Bay and operate.
Definitely, yeah.
So if you go to your place, that's shopping local or local services.
Yeah,
and now we only have about a minute left. Is there anything you want to resonate with our viewers, or any last things that you want to get in there? Like, where are you located?
So I'm located downtown PA,
Mm-hmm.
59 Court Street North. There's a big, huge red sign that says King West.
Awesome. And now, okay, I've seen it. You're on Instagram. You're on Facebook. You don't have a website yet.
No website yet.
But really, your work is going to speak for itself.
Pretty
as
much.
We
Like,
see nice haircuts on men around town.
Exactly, thank you.
And so,
Word of mouth is the best way for my business to get around.
and especially in Thunder Bay, again, like we said, it's 2 degrees of separation.
Exactly,
and
yeah. You see a nice haircut, you ask where it came from, and then
Very true.
hopefully it brings it my way.
And women are the same
Yeah.
if they like your color or
Right,
anything. Yeah, no,
exactly.
Thunder Bay is a great place, and especially for a small business like yours or like any businesses here, really, they seem to end up thriving as long as you put in the dedication and the hard work.
Yeah, for sure.
So I want to say congrats
Thank you.
on the
Thanks
new
for having me.
business, and thank you for taking time out of your day to come to the studio and do the interview. And so this was Raff from King West Barbershop, and my name's Kateri Skaarup. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Giant Dreams Under Construction. We'll see you next time.